Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something shadowy, something hidden. The Appalachian Exclusion Zone, or A.E.Z. We've got some fascinating and honestly pretty disturbing source material here about the military force that the Silhouette organization has put together.
Yeah, it's quite the collection. We're looking at internal Silhouette documents on their military projects, cross-referenced with intel reports about the A.E.Z. itself.
And it paints this picture of a secret war, right, fought by, well, not your standard soldiers.
Exactly. Against threats that are, frankly, hard to wrap your head around. So today, we want to unpack how they even create these soldiers, how they operate, and what exactly they're up against in there.
Okay, let's start right at the beginning then, the creation. How does the Silhouette recruit for this supernatural division? It's definitely not the usual sign-up sheet.
No, definitely not. The criteria are incredibly specific. They need people with, top-tier combat skills. We're talking special forces, black ops veterans.
Right, the best of the best physically.
But also, crucially, immense psychological resilience. You have to be able to face things that would break most people.
Makes sense, given the context.
And then there's this other layer, a predisposition to the occult. Maybe dormant abilities or certain ancestral lines. And let's just say a degree of moral flexibility seems to be a plus.
Moral flexibility, that's one way to put it. And the recruitment methods themselves, they're something else.
Yeah, they are.
Extracting elite soldiers from active units, basically disappearing them. Recovering soldiers from near-fatal battle injuries, offering them a modified second chance.
The War Casualty Recovery Program.
Bringing in operatives already listed as KIA, the Ghost Unit Transfers. And then the really dark one, prisoner induction.
Right. Court-martial personnel offered a way out of prison straight into Silhouette's ranks. It says a lot about who they're willing to use.
It really does. It suggests they need people already operating on the fringes, people maybe already broken or remade in some way. What does that imply about the threat level?
It implies it's off the charts. They're desperate, willing to push ethical and human boundaries. Because whatever they're facing demands it. They need soldiers who can go beyond normal limits.
And that leads us straight into their super soldier initiatives. These aren't just tough training regimens, are they? It's science and sorcery matched together.
Pretty much. Highly experimental, very high risk, a blend of cutting-edge tech and, well, the occult.
Let's break them down. Project Ascension. Occult genetic reforging. What's the deal here?
Okay, so Ascension involves a complex blood transfusion ritual. The idea is to splice the subject's DNA with genetic material sourced from what they believe are ancient warrior bloodlines.
Like mythical figures, legendary heroes.
Kind of, yeah. People from history or legend known for supernatural prowess. The goal is enhanced reflexes, combat instinct, resistance to mind control magic, even inducing a sort of battle trance.
But messing with DNA like that, using potentially mythical bloodlines, there have to be downsides, right?
Oh, absolutely. Major ones. We're talking significant personality fractures. Subjects experience echoes, fragments of memories, instincts, even personalities of these past warriors bleeding through.
So you could have, like, a modern soldier suddenly acting like a Viking berserker.
Sort of, yeah. Or struggling with conflicting impulses and memories constantly. It's incredibly destabilizing.
Yikes. Okay, next up. Project Warlock. Eldritch Infusion. This sounds even deeper into the magic side of things.
It is. This involves literally branding eldritch sigils onto the soldier's bones and nervous system through ritualistic means.
Whoa, okay. Why? What's the enhancement?
The payoff is supposed to be significant. Accelerated healing, near immunity to conventional weapons, ridiculously high pain tolerance.
And arcane abilities.
Yeah, low-level stuff. Short-range teleportation, shadow stepping, they call it. Imbuing bullets with hexes, things like that.
Okay, that's intense. But branding arcane symbols directly into someone, the potential for disaster seems huge.
It is. The costs are severe. A growing emotional detachment pushing towards sociopathy, and the constant, terrifying risk of outright possession by whatever entity those sigils are linked to.
So are they soldiers or just magically charged time bombs?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Are they controllable assets or something far more dangerous?
Then there's Project Titan, cybernetic augmentation. This sounds a bit more sci-fi, but still mixed with the occult.
Exactly. It integrates state-of-the-art cybernetics, bionic limbs, enhanced senses, neural uplinks, internal combat drug dispensers. But these systems are designed to work with occult reinforcement.
How does that work? Magic batteries for the cybernetics.
Sort of. It might stabilize the power sources, enhance their function beyond pure mechanics, maybe offer protection against magical interference or even EMP-type attacks.
But inevitably, there are risks.
Of course. Mechanical failure is a big one. Imagine your bionic arm seizing up mid-fight, plus severe mental instability as the mind struggles to integrate with the machine, often leading to paranoia.
Right. And the last one mentioned is Project Black Veil, creating the perfect killers. That sounds ominous.
It is. The goal here is the ultimate covert assassin. They use neural reprogramming, basically brainwashing, combined with supernatural conditioning.
What kind of enhancements are we talking about?
Things like near-total invisibility, maybe through light manipulation or psychic cloaking. Enhanced agility, extreme stealth, psychic dampening so they can't be easily detected by sensitives.
And memory erasure, that's horrifying.
Yeah, wiping memories to ensure loyalty and secrecy.
Yeah.
But the side effects, profound identity loss. Subjects literally forget who they are.
And the risk of vanishing.
That too. Sometimes they just phase out of reality, maybe into other dimensions. It's like the process makes them fundamentally unstable. It really pushes the ethical boundaries to the breaking point.
It's clear these projects are incredibly dangerous. The sources mention frequent failures, corruption, insanity, grotesque physical changes.
Demonic possession, yeah.
It happens.
And the fate of the failures is grim. Very. They're often repurposed, used as disposable enforcers in Silhouette's black sites or sent on suicide missions. It's chillingly practical.
Expendable assets.
Basically, yes. When the experiments go wrong, the subjects are just written off. High-stakes research with human lives.
But for the ones who succeed, who remain somewhat stable, what do?
They're deployed on the really sensitive ops, global anomaly suppression, dealing with outbreaks like the A.E.Z. elsewhere, maybe. Covert missions, retrieving dangerous artifacts, extracting high-value targets involved in the occult.
The secret shock troops for the hidden world?
Pretty much. And the Silhouette keeps them on a very tight leash. Constant surveillance, psychological conditioning, fail-safes. They have to, given how powerful and potentially unstable these operatives are.
The documents also mention some specific failed projects, cautionary tales, I guess. The Revenants.
Ah, yes, the Revenants. The idea was to infuse soldiers with necrotic energy, make them tireless, resistant to damage, bind their souls to their bodies.
Sounds like creating zombies.
Well, it didn't quite work out. They got the resilience, but also uncontrollable aggression, a horrifying compulsion towards self-mummification while still alive, and an insatiable bloodlust.
So they made monsters they couldn't control.
Exactly. The project was shut down fast.
Yeah.
Too dangerous, even for Silhouette.
And the other one, the Eidolon Protocol.
That was even more ambitious, maybe foolish. Experimenting with quantum phase shifting, trying to make soldiers who could walk through walls, essentially.
Phase out of reality.
Right, combining quantum physics theories with arcane rituals. But it went badly wrong. Subjects started vanishing permanently or returning, changed.
Changed how?
Became what the files call Eidolon wraiths. Physically unstable, identities shattered, often hostile, like echoes caught between dimensions. It showed just how dangerous messing with reality itself could be.
Okay, so these are the kinds of operatives, successful and failed, that the Silhouette creates. And their main proving ground seems to be the A.E.Z., policed by the Appalachian Containment Task Force, the ACTF.
Right. The ACTF is Silhouette's dedicated division for the A.E.Z. It's this huge classified zone in the mountains set up to contain all these things, keep them from getting out. Absolute secrecy is paramount.
And within the ACTF, different squads for different jobs, right? Like the wardens.
The wardens are the front line. Boots on the ground, they handle breaches, physically contain entities, maintain the barriers, they use specialized gear silver, cold iron weapons, sigil-marked armor. First responders when things go wrong.
Then the Black Lantern Division. Sounds more analytical.
It is. They're the research arm. Studying the anomalies, the entities, the zone itself, digging through old texts using metaphysical science, ritual magic, even quantum stuff to figure out how to contain things better. They're the brains, trying to understand the madness.
Followed by the Hollow Hounds. That name.
Yeah, it fits. They're the hunter-killers. Elite squad sent after the really high-threat targets, dangerous cryptids, powerful spirits, eldritch horrors. They're known for being brutally effective, silent, and very final.
Getting the job done no matter what.
Pretty much.
And finally, the Bone Choir. That sounds psychic.
It is, composed of psychic sensitives. Their job is mainly surveillance and early warning, detecting reality shifts, Dimensional breaches, non-Euclidean weirdness before it becomes obvious.
Like a psychic DEW line.
Kinda, yeah. But the constant psychic noise of the A.E.Z. takes a heavy toll on them psychologically. It's a high burnout job.
So these different units are all focused on stopping the A.E.Z. from expanding. How are they trained for threats like the Hollow Men or the Wraithwood?
The specific training is classified, obviously, but you have to assume it's incredibly specialized. Learning the weaknesses and behaviors of specific A.E.Z. entities.
Right.
Training in wards, sigils, banishment rituals, understanding the bizarre geography, shifting mountains, failing ley lines, time distortions. They have to adapt to a reality that just doesn't follow normal rules.
It sounds like an impossible task. But apparently Scylla isn't doing it entirely alone. There's this alliance with Native American tribes.
Yes, and this is critical. Descendants of tribes like the Cherokee and Shawnee who lived in those mountains for centuries. They have their own history with what they call the things below.
They knew about this stuff long before Silhouette showed up.
Exactly. They had ancient pacts, seals the documents mentioned a treaty of the deep earth, and knowledge of wards and sigils passed down for generations. They fought these things long ago.
So why did Silhouette turn to them?
Because their own methods weren't enough. The ancient seals were failing, the A.E.Z. activity was increasing, and Silhouette realized they lacked the deep understanding these tribes possessed.
And the tribes had warned them.
Apparently so. Warnings that were ignored initially. Things like, you can't contain them, you can only appease them, suggesting a completely different approach was needed.
And among these descendants, there are the changed ones, people altered by the A.E.Z.
Right. Descendants who stayed within or near the zone and have been influenced by its energies over generations.
How are they changed?
It varies. Living sigils might appear on their skin. Their eyes might perceive things differently. The files mention black mirror eyes. Enhanced strength, maybe even semi-immortality. They act as guides, repositories of ancient knowledge.
But it's an uneasy alliance, the sources say.
Very uneasy. Silhouette is inherently distrustful, focused on control and technology. The changed ones see Silhouette as meddlers, maybe making things worse with their aggressive approach.
But they work together.
They have to. The threat inside the A.E.Z. is too great. It forces this strained cooperation. Shared enemy, different philosophies.
Okay, so what is this overwhelming threat? Let's talk about the horrors inside the A.E.Z. itself. The zone isn't just a place, is it?
No, it's a wound in reality.
Right.
A place where the laws of physics are frayed, time warps, space bends, the veil between dimensions is thin, maybe non-existent at places, and it's alive, it's expanding.
Dimensional overlap, reality shifts.
Yeah, and the things living in there.
Let's list a few. The Hollow Men. Mimicking voices, no eyes, but they can see you. See you is yoku ukeoyu, Arabic, needing unconventional ways to eliminate them.
Right. Corrupted human forms. Fire or consecrated burials seem to be the only sure ways. Then you've got the Wraithwood Forest.
Whispering trees, paths that change, fire won't even burn there.
Exactly. A sentient, hostile environment. And the Deadlight's hypnotic orbs causing instant madness.
The Forgotten Choir, you can't see them, but their singing makes people vanish, and recordings just capture screams. That's terrifying.
It really is. And the Pale Daughters, emaciated figures, their wails cause insanity. They can phase in and out. The Moth King's winged humanoids seen before disasters.
The Ashen Ones touch them, and you suffocate in soot. The Hunger Stones rocks that whisper and steal memories.
Don't forget the Lantern Men, mimicking lost people. The Stitched Herd Deer made of wrong flesh. The Black Tongues humans infested with something ancient, speaking backwards.
And the Hollow Pines trees that are doorways to somewhere else. It's just relentless nightmare fuel.
It is. Each one is a unique horror, a specific challenge for the ACTF.
And you mentioned extra-dimensional spaces linked to that Eidolon protocol.
Yeah, the failure of Eidolon strongly suggests the A.E.Z. isn't just thinning the veil, it's overlapping with other dimensions, creating unstable portals, pathways to who knows where. It makes containment exponentially harder.
And holding it all back are these wards and sigils, which are failing.
Increasingly so, according to the intel. The ancient sites they're anchored to are becoming unstable. The barriers are weakening. The containment seems precarious, like it's fraying at the edges.
Which feels like we're building towards something bad. Lastly, there's a quick mention, almost an aside, about something called the Black Stag.
Yeah, just a name drop in the files. No details, no explanation.
But its inclusion implies it's important.
You'd have to assume so. Given everything else in the A.E.Z., mentioning something specific like that, even briefly, suggests it's a significant piece of the puzzle. Maybe a powerful entity, a key location, a recurring phenomenon, something worth keeping an eye on in future intelligence.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what we've seen today is, well, a terrifying glimpse into a hidden war.
Definitely. The extreme, often brutal methods the Silhouette uses to create its soldiers. The sheer variety and horror of the threats inside the A.E.Z.
This strange, vital alliance with the native tribes and the changed ones.
Yeah, and the constant growing danger that this containment feeling that the A.E.Z. is unstable and expanding.
It underscores the incredible sacrifices being made, completely unseen, to hold back forces that just shouldn't exist in our reality.
Yeah, it's a constant battle waged in the shadows.
And it really leaves you with a heavy thought, doesn't it? With all the failures, the inherent dangers of these super soldier programs, the weakening containment, can this actually work long term?
Or is it just delaying the inevitable? Are they just poking the bear, so to speak?
Exactly.
Is this whole supernatural arms race just building towards a bigger catastrophe down the line?
Yeah.
Something to think about, the hidden conflicts happening right under our noses?